everybody out there. This is the Rock Office. I'm your host, Bill Smith.
With Kevin Davis.
Want to thank you for tuning in this week. Alright, time for the top 10 list. Before we go any further, I know we're going to be getting emails and comments. We're only going to give you the top 5. The reason why is because we've started a blog that coordinates with the YouTube channel, with the Facebook page, because we want this to be an interactive experience with you guys. So what you got to do is go to therockofffice.tumblr.com and you'll see our full top 10 list.
And you can also find us on Facebook if you go to facebook.com/rockoffice. We're right there, so you can also go there.
For this week's top 10 list, we've got the most overplayed songs in rock radio history. Now, I don't know about you, Kevin, but I love classic rock, but it seems like most DJs or most radio programmers only stick to the same 10 or 15 songs. So it's starting off with my number 5. We got Kiss, Rock and Roll All Night. Now, I love Kiss. They're personally one of my favorite bands. I never want to hear this song again. It's the national anthem of rock and roll, as Paul and Gene have dubbed it, but it's just too overplayed.
My number 5, Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. Overplayed, not only on the radio, but by people, if you know what I mean, and played horribly, by the way, I'd like to add.
Alright, that was a great choice. My number 4 is AC/DC's You Shook Me All Night Long. Great band, legendary band. When you hear a song at a dance club, at the ballpark, in commercials, it loses a sort of relevancy and it just makes you sick. I never want to hear the song again.
It takes something from the bad boys of rock and roll to the soft boys of rock and roll when you hear it all these different places. My number 4, Black Sabbath, Iron Man. It's just one of those songs, I don't think it's some of their best work at all. It just comes on the radio. Thicket.
Yeah, good choice. Alright, my number 3 is Boston, More Than a Feeling. Love Boston. Love this album. You hear the song at the mall, you hear the song in commercials, you hear this song everywhere. I never want to hear the song again the rest of my life.
It made my top 10, not necessarily my top 5. My number 3, Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son. Very similar to the Boston, but as far as being overplayed, just way too much.
Yeah, I actually love this song, and it'd be great if you can hear it once, maybe twice a year. My number 2 was Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way. Now, let me just state, I love Fleetwood Mac. Lindsey Buckingham, who wrote the song, I think is one of the most underrated guitarists in rock history, but I absolutely hate this song. This is one of these songs when you see the soccer mom driving the minivan down the road and she's banging her head.
That's just not cool.
You just don't want to associate with that. I never, ever want to hear this song again.
Yeah, you know, it wouldn't have been one of my picks. However, I definitely see what you're saying, especially when you get into the soccer mom thing.
Not cool.
My number 2, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Huge Zeppelin fan. Stairway to Heaven is also one of those songs that everybody thinks they can play on the guitar, and they can't. That ruins it for me as well. So,
alright, and my number 1, Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll. Every time I hear this song, I picture Tom Cruise dancing around in his underpants, and it makes me sick. I absolutely think Seger is brilliant. Please, if I hear this song again, I want to stab my eardrums with a dull pencil.
I can see where you're coming from that. If you would ask me, Bob Seger overplayed more than this, turn the page. Turn the page.
Way overplayed.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's the Tom Cruise image that pushes
Tom
it over the
Cruise pushes everything over the edge, unfortunately, sometimes. My number 1 pick, Leonard Skinner, Freebird. Now, you're probably thinking Sweet Home Alabama. Probably could have been there as well. It's the same situation as Seger. There's a couple of songs of Skinner that get played way too much, and there's a lot of songs that don't get played at all. Freebird, way too overplayed. Also, way over requested, by the way, in the dive bars. Don't always request Freebird.
I think for me, it's probably more the issue of the drunken idiot in the back, play Freebird, than it actually is the song. Unfortunately, like with Tom Cruise and Bob Seger, you get the negative association with it. And so DJs, click that track, turn that vinyl over, because you might be surprised. There might be some other tunes you like. Alright, this is our current events section. This is where we let you know the latest and greatest going on in the music business, music industry. And this week, I am excited to say that the South by Southwest Festival that goes on annually in Austin is happening in Austin, Texas, representing all my friends down the ATX. And we have an on-the-spot correspondent, Sir Rock and Roll, who's going to share with us some footage that he recorded earlier this week at some of the festivities. Sir Rock and Roll, take it away.
Hey, Rock Office in Cleveland, Ohio. This is Sir Rock and Roll from Austin, Texas. I'm live at South by Southwest. Music is everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's music. All you in Cleveland, Ohio need to get down here next year. Check out the art wall. Everywhere you look, there is art. There's musicians. There's music. There's partying. This is the place to be, South by Southwest.
Thanks, Sir Rock and Roll, for that update. It's been updating me all week. So many great bands, so many great shows to go see. And if you're interested and want to know some of the bands that have been playing, and you can even hear and see some of the shows that were recorded, go to sxsw.com. That's the South by Southwest Festival's official website. And there you can find pictures, videos, and I could probably even download some MP3s of songs. Check it out. Also, this week, talk about exciting concert news. Festival announced this summer. 4 of my all-time favorite bands are going and hitting the road this summer. We got Bare Naked Ladies, Blues Traveler, Cracker, and Big Head Todd the Monster. Just announced this week a bunch of tour dates on their website. So you can check on the bluestraveler.com, barenakedladies.com, cracker.com. Find all the tour dates there. But it's going to be a great show. Don't miss it. Hopefully, we will see you at that show.
And I got one for you, Bill.
All right.
This one just came to my attention yesterday. This summer, July 6th, it's a Friday, 7 p.m. at the Q Arena downtown Cleveland for all of you guys in Cleveland. Def Leppard on tour here with Poison and Lita Ford.
Oh,
That's one for you not to miss as well.
great.
Tickets are on sale right now, so make your way to theqarena.com to pick up your tickets for that. Check that out because that's definitely one that you will not want to miss.
Yeah, that's a great bill.
In fact, we may even check it out.
Well, definitely check all that out. That sounds great. Def Leppard, Poison, Lita Ford. That's what a great bill. You got Big Head Todd, Blues Traveler, Cracker, and Bare Naked Lady. Another great show. So check that out. Also, hopefully we'll see you there this summer. This week, for you, we have CD reviews. We got a new one, and we got an old one that I pulled out from the vault. This week's new review is The Fray, Scars and Stories. I love this album. The Fray is one of the few bands in the last decade that have come out that really impressed me with their musicality. This album was produced by Brendan Bud O'Brien, who's worked with many of the industry's heaviest hitters, from Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam. This album is probably The Fray at their best. If you're a fan of The Fray and like what they've done on their first 2 albums, you're going to love this album. What Brendan O'Brien was able to do was harness the musicality and the talent of these guys and channel it into a very focused and singular vision for this album. The songwriting is great. They brought it up another notch. The musicality is incredible. These guys are great musicians. Some of the standout tracks on this album are The Fighter, 48 to Go, Be Still. I love this album. Go to the local record store, pick it up, and I think you'll be very pleasantly pleased. Alright, in this week's section from the vault, it's where I pull out one of my old classics I've been listening to and just give you guys a reminder of it. This week I've been listening to Maxwell's debut album, Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite. Came out in 1996 and just has a real cool retro funk R&B soul vibe. Kind of reminds me of stuff that Marvin Gaye and Curtis Mayfield and all those guys were doing back in the 70s. The musicianship on it is incredible. The songwriting is great. Maxwell really now is a heavy hitter in the genre of R&B and soul, but back when he first came out, no one really knew who he was. But this album contains some of his most popular songs. Ascension, Don't Ever Wonder, Something Something, Wherever, Whenever, Wherever. I tell you, this album is great. If you want something for this time of year that's a little romantic, a little cool, a little chill, just go and put this disc on. And so if you're interested in both The Fray and Maxwell, they're available at your local music retailer. Once you run down the street and pick those up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have the
Battle Royale.
Thank you, God. Anyway, what we do in this segment is we take 2 heavyweights in the music industry and juxtapose them together to see which one will come out victorious in the viewer poll, which you have a direct response to, and then we compare and contrast with each other. So this week, for your viewing pleasure, we have 2 titans in the heavy metal industry. We have Megadeth versus Metallica. For me, hands down, the pick goes to Megadeth. I gotta say, when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of Metallica. Really used to like those guys then. Stack their 2 catalogs up against each other. I gotta give it to Megadeth. I find the writing is more prolific, the musicality is there, and also Napster incident with Lars Ulrich and some kind of monster documentary really have turned me off to the guys of Metallica. They come across as very pompous and arrogant. You're gonna compare albums. I really think the last great effort that Metallica did was Injustice for All. Ride the Lightning's a great album, but for me, I just think Megadeth has so many more consistently great albums. Rust in Peace, Peace Sells But Who's Buying, Countdown to Extinction. Just for me, I gotta give the edge to Megadeth. Kevin?
Metallica, they're a mixed bag to me. You know, there are some songs that when I listen to them, I just go, you know, that was good stuff. But when it comes down to the guys of the band, consistency of what they're putting out, consistency of what you get when you deal with the band, fortunately, Megadeth wins hands down in that field. Do I agree with music piracy? No, absolutely not. There were more than just Metallica affected. And when you take a look at the overall picture, who responded like a 6-year-old child of Metallica? Definitely, I think Metallica has gotten a little bit too big for the britches. They could be brought down a level, and I think, you know, if that were to happen, I would probably give them a lot more credit. But unfortunately, I only give credit where credit is due, and at this point, it's on Megadeth's side.
Well, you know what we think. We want to hear from you. Down below on our Facebook page and even on our blog, there's a place for you to vote in this week's poll. We want to know, people out there, is it Megadeth for you, or is it Metallica? Alright, we just want to thank you for your support. We want to thank you for tuning in this week. Kevin?
Just want to, you know, once again, same sentiments. Make sure you click that like button or that subscribe button if you want to keep up with what's going on here. Get us some viewers, you know, show people what you're watching. And most of all, you know, let us know how you, you know, feel about the show.
Also, if you're an independent artist and like to get your album on the show, let's get a review, get a shout out there for you. Just let us know. Hit us down in a message or send us an email. You can email us at therockoffice@ymail.com. Support your local record stores by going and buying physical copies of the music instead of the download. And we will see you next week. Thank you. God bless.